man. Shout out to Kevin Newman. Can't wait to hear him.
All right, Mr. Newman, what's going on, champ?
Ness, what's up, my brother? How you doing?
All good, man. Let's jump straight into it. You know, I watched the fight.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, man. What would you give yourself in terms of letter grade, man? You just fought July 5th, or was it actually the 4th?
it was a fifth.
Okay.
I give myself a B, man. It was a cool fight. I felt like I should have got him out of there a little earlier, but I got him out of there. That was all that really mattered. You know what I'm saying? And didn't take no punishment in the process.
So I'm watching it, and you had me a little nervous. Not for that fight, but for
Yeah,
future fights. I'm like, okay, Kevin is holding a little bit too much and allowing
yeah,
Jones to work on the inside in these clinches. So in my mind, I'm replacing Jones with like a Lester Martinez. These
right,
names
right,
that
right, right.
people have been throwing your way, and that these offers that been coming. So it's like, I don't know if that style's gonna work with a Lester. You letting him hit you on the body like that.
Yeah,
Occasionally you had your head turned like in the clinch, and this guy hit you in the
right,
head.
right.
I'm like, man, do he
Yeah, no,
have to get a little
he
more
knew
active?
he knew how to he kind of knew how to like maneuver in the clinch, but styles make fights, you know what I'm saying? And you box guys, certain ways. So with him, he couldn't punch. I wasn't too, worried about being in the clinch with him. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, okay, we're here, and I'll rest a little bit and then get back out to working on the outside.
So at times, like, you was using the jab, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like you were coming behind it. It was more like, oh, you hurt your hand?
What'd you say?
You hurt your hand?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Oh
good.
man. So it wasn't like you was coming behind, it was more like you was flicking it. Like, I like to say
Yeah.
you was looking cute versus going out there to get the kill. Again, were you trying to get rounds? Were you just filling them out? What was like the game plan or the mindset in the fight?
I mean, it was so for this fight particularly, it was just me because Roy couldn't make it. So I was kind of like, we had kind of talked before, and I just kind of went out there and kind of did what he told me to do in spots, not rush, not rush nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's 8 rounds, so it was like I knew I was gonna get him. It was just about winning, just kind of setting it up. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, you could go out there and you could blast the guy out, but at the end of the day, you got to still go out there and work on certain things. You know what I'm saying? And it's like because when you get those bigger fights, you're not going to be able to just go in there and blast them guys out. You got to go in there and break a guy down and then take him apart. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of what I did with him. I feel like I should have did it probably in like the fifth round. Actually, like the fifth round, fifth, sixth round, I felt like he should have been gone, but I got him in the seventh. So you know,
The right hand was landing pretty
yeah.
easy. Did you feel that way? Uh, yeah, I mean, was it just something that was available, or do you feel that came because of you setting it up?
I mean, it felt like his arms were a little longer than mine. I think he was a little longer than I expected. Pause. Like his arms were longer, so it was a little tough to get to him with the right hand. But once I finally found the range with the jab, and it wasn't nothing for me to hit him. So I talked to a couple people. And, I was like, okay, I'm gonna work the body a little bit, break him down, and then once I start touching him, I could just find him whenever I wanted to.
So this is now what, 7 straight fights in a row, 7 fight streak, 7 fight
Yeah.
win streak. What do you think is next? And yeah, how did you feel fighting in that state? Was that new
I
for
mean, it
you?
was
What's that, Louisville, right?
no, that was in Shreveport.
Shreveport, my bad,
Yeah,
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Yeah, yeah. So it was cool, man. I've been fighting on the road a lot these last few years. So since I left Mayweather Promotions, because when I was with them, it was all for the most part Vegas or I think I fought in like Arizona one time and LA I was supposed to fight one time, but for the most part I've been on the road. So it's cool, man. It's cool to get out and fight in different areas and make new fans and stuff like that. But as far as what's next for me, I got some big coming up in October. So, you know, um, we're working towards that now.
A fight or an announcement?
Well, it's a bigger fight. It's a bigger fight. So yeah, yeah. So something that will once it's fully put together, then I'll jump back on and we'll talk about it for sure.
For sure, man. That's
Yeah.
great news. So, how'd this fight come about? Was this something that you worked out on your own with Peebo and Shamar, or is this a Devin Haney DHP situation? How'd you get on this card?
It was just more like a last minute thing. So I kind of took this fight on it's like 4.5 weeks notice. You know what I'm saying? I'm always in the gym. I'm always training. I'm always working. But I got reached out to by Peebo, and me and Dev spoke, and I'm like, look, man, he offered me this. So I'm like, he's like, let's do it. He was like, let's just stay active. Dev was like, the main things for you right now is to stay active, stay busy. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I took the fight, and the rest is history.
Now, a former DHP stablemate just signed to Golden Boy Amari Jones.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Amari linking up with Golden Boy? And is that something you would consider, since it seems like Devin is now kind of focused on his career? Is it time, because of the time is ticking, like, do you think you need to maybe pivot?
I mean, no, I mean, I feel like, everybody has to do what's best for them. You know what I'm saying? And that was the move that, Amari felt that was best for him. So, he's his own man at the end of the day. Um, and right now, I mean, I got options, so, Dev is working with me, DHP, we got our thing going on. Obviously I fought on Jake Paul's card, one of his cards. I got Roy, working with me. So it's just like, I've also talked to Pro Box, so it's like whatever makes the most sense, that's what we're willing to do. But as far as of course I'm loyal to my people. Dev's been, putting money behind me. Of course he's my brother. He's believing in me, and willing to keep me busy. So, and also willing to get me bigger opportunities. So it's like, we just gonna keep on moving forward, and just kind of see what we can make shake. But as far as the next one, it will be Roy Jones. That's doing this one for me.
So your nickname is the Second Coming. Does that reflect
Yeah.
like the journey from LA to Vegas, or like where does the nickname come
So
from?
So there was a commercial, I don't know if you remember, back in like '07, '08ish. It was like, I remember watching it when I was a kid, and I seen like, it was like Kobe, LeBron, Paul Pierce, and they were all coming off of the this jet airplane. And it was like, the song was called like The Second Coming. It was like the second coming of all the great players. You know what I'm saying? And it was a whole bunch of them that were on the Olympic team, if I'm not mistaken, around that time. And I mean, it was just like, I felt like it was just fitting for me. I feel like I'm the second coming of another great fighter, and I just kind of just stuck with it and rock with it.
How long have you been in Vegas? Because honestly, I didn't even know you was from LA.
Yeah, I've been in Vegas since I came out here when I was 10 years old.
Damn. Okay, so
Yeah,
you a lost vegan for sure.
yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
still have like LA friends or no?
Yeah, LA friends from, from elementary school. A few of them, actually quite a few of them, family. I got family all over, family in the Bay Area, family in LA, family in Kansas City. So, yeah, I still got my people all around.
What part of LA you grew up in?
Well, I grew up right outside of LA, so West Covina.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
So this next fight will potentially be in October.
Yeah.
In your mind, obviously you can't talk about the details, but is it official, which means you can start camp, or is it something that you have to wait to see to know what to do with the body physically?
No, it's something that, was already talked about before this fight. I already knew I had this fight coming up beforehand, and they've been getting all the paperwork done, and the flyers and stuff, and then this guy has to go take care of his business, and then once he does that, then we should be, locking in and announcing everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I mean, what's up with you and Roy? Like, can you count on him if it's a big name? Do you just call him in when it's a big name? How's the training work between the two of you?
No, everything's good. I mean, I did training camp fully with Roy. We were in Pensacola the whole time. He had like it was something in Turkey he had to go to for it was like a boxing event that he already had on the schedule. And I got this fight last minute. It was already, he was already going, and I'm like, he trusts my ability and stuff like that for that particular fight. If it's a bigger fight, Roy's never he hadn't missed none of my fights, but excuse me, but if it was a bigger fight, then of course, he's there. We talked about it, and he was like, man, I tried to get out of this one. He's like, they wouldn't let me. He's like, so, but the next, he's like, I'm not gonna miss no more. So I wasn't too worried about it.
What are some of the benefits with being with Roy and DHP? Like, how's that been for your career, and what's been the upside?
I mean, everybody, knows it, knows each other and is familiar. Dev and BH used to work with Roy when Dev was a kid. So, everybody's familiar with each other. It's all positive. And at the end of the day, they all the individuals involved, they have my best interest. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and they push me, you know what I'm saying? So it's like Dev, he's not, he's my biggest critic, just like I'm my biggest critic, and so is Roy. So it's like they all make sure that they continue to push me, towards where I want to get to.
Speaking of Dev, man, he took that fight with Brian Norman,
Yes.
the killer, the puncher, man. What's your thoughts on that? Did you
Yeah.
expect that? Did you know about, the situation before it was announced, or did it come out of left field like, damn, Dev fighting a fucking puncher?
No, I knew about it. I knew about it. Me and Dev, and we talk about everything. So I knew, and he knows I'm rocking with him 100%. And just like he's rocking with me 100% against anybody. So it's like, I believe in his skills, man. Skills pay the bills in this game, and yeah, Brian Norman, he has some momentum. He's he just came off probably with his knockout of the year. But Dev is he's been in there with punchers. He's been in there with guys that could box, guys that could bang. So it's nothing new to him. And I think that you guys are gonna see the best Devin Haney come November.
Will we see the best version of you come October? This will be your third fight this year. You haven't
Yeah,
really been able to get that type of level of activity in years, bro. I
exactly,
mean, I don't even think I can find 3 fights. Okay, 2019 you had 3.
exactly.
That's the last time you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
3 straight fights in a year, champ.
And the more active I am, the better it's gonna be. So it's like the activity is why I hurried up and took this middle fight. And I actually had one lined up for August 16th, but it just wasn't worth the risk of going to do that. And then I have this bigger one in October. So, but activity is the key, man. It's like that's what it is for me right now. And the more active I am, the better I'm gonna be out. So but for me, October, I feel like everybody's gonna see the best version of me that they ever seen.
For sure, man. 3 fights in 1 year, that's
Yeah,
definitely a blessing.
for
Um,
sure.
how has it been on the body though? You've already had 2 training camps. Are you feeling good for this next one?
Yeah, I feel great, man. I mean, my body, I keep myself in good shape. I'm always running. I think right after my last fight, I end up running like a total of 30 miles like the following week after the fight. So it's like I was just running yesterday, matter of fact. So it's like I'm always keeping myself in great shape, man. And staying in the gym, just working on small things. I'm not in the gym constantly sparring, just beating my body down, but I'm always in the gym working on something. So it's like that's the key. I think that's the key is to callous in your body, but sometimes the mind needs a little bit of rest. So, I'm giving myself, a few days, a week or so or whatever, and then I'll be right back in the gym.
I got Ali and Dago, San Diego. He says, "What up, Kevin? Are you looking for a title shot soon?" I'm listening, champ. Let me just open this door for the dog.
No, you good. Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely, man. I feel like, it's like I'm in my prime right now. So, of course, the necessary steps have to be taken to get there, but definitely, I'd be crazy not to be looking for a title shot at this point in my career. So, but you just take one fight at a time and, keep knocking guys off, and then hopefully they call your name.
This fight in October, where would it put, like, what sanctioning body would you be ranked in if you got the win?
WBA.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah. So,
you're looking at a future Plant fight if you get the win, because obviously it's Plant then Canelo, or are you looking straight at a Canelo fight? And do you think
I'm
that's even
looking
possible?
I'm looking at whoever's in front of me, man. So if you in front of me
No, I'm just
and
I'm just adding to that other question from San Diego who said, are you looking at a title shot soon? So that's why I
Okay.
asked which sanctioning body. Now we know the sanctioning body. We know the two champions there. I actually
No,
Resendiz,
but
Plant
Resendez,
Loss.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Resendiz,
So
Plant
so
Loss, and Canelo.
yeah, so I mean, I've been talking to some of my people at PBC. So, maybe we might be able to line something up later down the line. I know Plant has a rematch clause with the Resendez kid. I don't know if he's gonna take it or not, but I mean, any of them guys, Plant, Charlo, uh Resendez, any of them guys, shit, hell, even Boo Boo over at PBC, any of them guys, I'm with
Wait
it.
a minute. You said even Boo Boo. Don't nobody call Andre out. What? What do you
Okay,
see?
hold on. And that's the problem. See, that's the
Oh
thing, man.
shit.
It's
You
like,
might have to jump out, jump back in, champ. We losing you. Like your service is sounding like you're underwater.
hold on.
Damn, Tip about to be happy, boy. That man said, Boo Boo Andrade. Tip, where you at? Tip must have did some voodoo this morning. You back?
There you go. Is that working?
Still underwater.
Is that, is it my service or?
I don't know if it's the service. Can you try to maybe go to airplane mode for 15 seconds and then back so it could get off the Wi-Fi or reconnect to the Wi-Fi? If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It's going to help with the visibility. If you're on X Spaces Quest, I see you. You next up. Hit that retweet. If you're watching on X Live streaming video, hit that retweet. Okay, Tip, I see you. I see. He said, tell him, say it again. Hey, man, we about to dive into it. His service. That's boxing for you. Boxing guy was like, oh, he said boo-boo. Blah, 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 fucked up his phone. They don't want boo-boo to get that fight. But that's dope. We never heard nobody call out boo-boo. James Payne Lethal, I see you. Let's see, is it going to work? You back?
How about that? That work?
Yes, that worked.
Okay, cool. But yeah, man, any of these guys, Ness, any of these guys,
Yeah,
man.
but
I know
why
nobody
Boo
calling out
Boo?
Boo Boo.
Like, I thought Boo Boo was this like tricky southpaw fighter nobody wanted to
Yeah,
fight.
yeah. And I think that's the thing, man. It's like, yeah, I mean, you don't hear nobody calling out Boo Boo, but it's like, I'm willing to fight any of them guys, man. Boo Boo's that he's a hell of a fighter. He's a guy that's been avoided for most of the prime years of his career. You know what I'm saying? Athletic, tricky, awkward southpaw. You know, not an easy fight for anybody. But shit, if he's there, he's available. Of course, I'm with it. You know,
How do you beat him? Is it
I
you
mean,
just outboxing him, or is it you got that natural 68 power and he's a 54-pounder moving up? Over after all, you're just naturally bigger. Like, how do you see that win?
I think it's of course it's boxing skills. I think that he has hell of a set of boxing skills as well. I feel like I'm the faster fighter, the younger fighter, the fresher fighter, and my reflexes, my speed. People still haven't seen the best version of me yet, and that's the thing. But the better fighters that I'm in the ring with, the more it brings out. So it's like that's the difference. You've seen the best of Boo Boo. You've seen the best of Caleb Plant. You've seen the best of Charlo. You haven't seen the best of me yet. And I think that, so I think I'll shock a lot of people when I do get my opportunity.
Speaking of opportunities, I don't know if this is someone on your radar or you looking, again, since you're looking for a world title. But
Yeah.
Darius Fulgham just had a great fight with Beck the Bully. He came
Yeah.
up short.
Yeah.
Darius is in your division. He's with Golden Boy. If they sent you an offer, is that something you would entertain? And have you ever considered this fight with Darius?
I never considered it, but I mean, if it's something that, that they send and it's something solid, then yeah, of course, why not? I mean, we're all in the same weight class, so I'm not opposed to fighting anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's like, as long as it makes sense, and it's the right opportunity, yeah, let's, I'm with whatever, man.
I got Kevin from Washington State, a.k.a. El Consejero. He says, how do you take care of your mental health, especially before a fight? I want to add, have you dealt with depression in your career just because you've been at it so long? You ain't get that Canelo fight or that world championship fight. Have you had to deal with depression? How do you not go full blown? You know what I'm saying? Some of these fighters, we starting to see that it's getting to them. How have you been able to stay sane and not let it get to you?
Great question, man. That's a hell of a question. First and foremost, God, man. I mean, of course, yeah, we all go through it, man. And I've been through it. Trust me. When I tell you I've been through it, you look up, you look in the mirror, you can beat these guys, you belong where you feel like you belong. You haven't got the opportunity yet. You haven't been active like you want to be, but for me, it's like I look at myself in the mirror, I just keep praying and I just keep working. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, of course, but I've definitely battled um certain things, and it's like, but I don't turn to drugs or alcohol. I just keep working. I keep working, man. I keep my head down, I keep praying, I keep working. And I mean, I feel like eventually it'll all turn over. But as far as battling like mental health before fights, absolutely. I had fought on Showbox, my last fight on Showbox 2020. I was fighting some kid, Polana, and I lost on a decision. But leading up to that fight, man, I had so many different things going on in my life at the time that were mentally just I just was not okay. You know what I'm saying? But as a fighter, I just went in there and just, shit, you go out there and you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like we all have excuses, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like no one cares. Everybody cares about what you're doing tonight. And so moving forward, I just learned how to navigate through that and put all those distractions to the side and just focus on tunnel vision, focus and tunnel vision. But definitely, yeah, that stuff will creep in your head, but you just got to work through it, man. Got to work through it.
Amen, man. First and foremost, like you said, first is God. So salute to you.
Appreciate
I
it.
have Treese in Toledo, Ohio. He says you fought in multiple weight classes. Which one do you
Yeah.
think has more money fights for you? And how do you think Edgar will look this weekend?
So everybody, I see people, they go on my box rec and they see that I fought at cruiserweight and like heavyweight. I never fought at cruiserweight. What happened is
He just got a call, but that's your time to smash the thumbs up. He's back. What up, champ? Uh-oh, he dropped off. All
my bad.
right.
Someone was calling me. Yeah, no, it says I fought at multiple different weight classes, but I haven't. All my fights have been super middleweight or right, like two, maybe 2, 3 pounds above it. But they bill it as those weight classes because what ends up happening is I got to hurry up and drink, 4, 5, 6 pounds on before I hit the scale. Because if not, these guys come in heavier. If not, then they
You
won't
can't
let us
have no
fight. You know what
fight.
I'm saying? Yeah, they won't. There won't be no fight. But I mean, as far as Edgar, I personally think Edgar's gonna win. You know, me and him, we've had our little, shit throughout the years, but that doesn't deter the fact that I think that he's, I think he's gonna win. He's gonna win. I don't think Shiraz has had you know, enough tough fights. I'm not saying that Berlanga has, but he just fought Canelo, and he's I think it just might just be this might be his night on Saturday.
Nice. We got Major Meter. He says, besides boxing, what other sports are you good in?
Let me tell it. I'm good at basketball. I can, I can hoop, man. I can hoop a little bit. So I always play basketball all through high school.
Champ, you
Um,
going to the fight?
yeah, I think I'm gonna go out to New York. Dev want me to come with him to his press conference, and then I think we're gonna go to the fight.
No, 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 no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just automatically assume everybody knows the fight means the fight. Canelo Crawford here in Vegas.
Oh yeah. I should be at that, man. Yeah, I should
Okay.
be at that, man.
Well, if you
Yeah, I'm gonna
change
pop
your
my head
mind,
up.
I'm having a gigantic fight party again. You're more than welcome to
Okay.
come. You do
Yeah, no.
gotta
If
check in with me and let me know because it is I'm gonna have a certain numbered amount of
I got.
people because of capacity.
Okay, yeah. If I don't go, I'll pull up for sure.
For sure. I
Yeah, I'll
got
pull up.
another one here from Quick from Seattle. What up, champ? I recently got some work and learn from your man's Andrew Murphy at our
Yeah,
gym, 509 Boxing in Eastern
yeah,
Washington, when he came home to get a workout. Any
yeah,
chance
yeah.
you'll be at Legends August 8th for his next fight? Best of luck
I'm
with
gonna.
you. Excuse me. Best of luck with your next one. Rooting for you. Put Ness on game about your boy. He's nice.
Yeah. Andrew Murphy, man, kid from Yakima, Washington. He's one of Roy's fighters. He lives in Pensacola. I think he's 10-0 right now with 8 knockouts. Good fighter, man. Good fighter. Super middleweight. He's a good looking kid. He's gonna I think he's gonna do big things, man. He just got to stay busy and stay active. But I'm gonna try and make it out to his fight August 8th. But I should be starting training camp around that time for my next one.
Nice, nice. I'm happy that you got a fight and a date. Like, how long has it been since you had a date this far out that you know to get
Man,
ready for? That's
yeah,
beautiful, man.
it's been a minute, man. It's like, but this is what I've been praying for, man. It's like, I
Amen.
mean, like, bro, I didn't had days and nights where I just hit that ground, man, hit the pavement, just asking God, man, just please, just give me opportunity, and just keep me going, man, and it just, and it's finally, I feel like it's finally happening for me, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I just got to take advantage of it. That's the main thing, is to take advantage of it.
I gotta ask, and I hope this isn't too personal. How do you get your wife to understand? Because it's
You
been
know,
years and she's in this grind with you. You even got a kid that's loving the sport. I've
yeah,
watched him go to the gym and it looks like he wants to be like you and take up
yeah.
after you. So, how do you keep the family not only rooted, but keep them like on the plan? Like, yo, don't worry, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's funny you said that, man. She's my girl is you know she's um she's one of a kind, man. She really supports me. Of course, women, yeah, they'll nag and they'll be women, but as far as support goes with my boxing, she's always believed in me. She's always picking me up, always pushing me. Babe, don't eat that, or don't do this, or you do this, go, make sure you're doing this. She keeps me on my P's and Q's, you know what I'm saying? And she believes in me and sees the vision. And she was just going through box rec after my fight, right? And she's clicking on names because she'll study my opponent. She watches all this stuff, and she goes and
That's
she was looking
dope.
on box rec. Yeah, like she'll she's always wants to know who I'm fighting, and she'll go look them up. Same thing with my mother. But she was clicking on names and she was like, wait, she was like, no, like you're really about to have a big fight soon. And because she's looking at the super middleweight rankings and she
Mm-hmm.
sees where I'm at and stuff like that. And she was like, shit. She was like, no, this is really about to happen. So she believes in me, man. And at my highest that she's been with me so far, she's been rocking me. And even at the lowest, when it felt like shit was damn near all over, she was still rocking with me. So, it's important to have a partner that pushes you and believes in you, 100%, and they try and make you better, for sure.
I mean, you made it more about her being official, so you didn't have to give her any words of encouragement. I mean, for those fighters out there that are in your situation,
Yeah.
how do you keep your partner on your side for this journey? Like, what words of wisdom can you give those fighters to be able to talk to their ladies to understand it's a long road. It's not
Yeah,
it's
it
not a
is,
race. It's a marathon.
for sure. And I've told her that before, and it's like, I'm like, I'm right there, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but at the same time, you have to have someone that sees the same vision that you see, even when it's hard to see that vision. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you don't ever want to be begging nobody like, oh, please, I'm no, it's not that, but it's like if they support you, you're gonna know, and like I said, things might not it might be tough, might financially it might be tough or whatever the case may be, but you got a good person when they're willing to hold you down, through that whole storm that may be coming, or that you may be going through. But I mean, like I said, man, she's from day one. It was like when I was with Mayweather Promotions, like she was cool with being with me at all my stuff, and then when it slowed down, she was cool with me going with me to fight in Georgia, driving from like Pensacola or whatever to all the way to Georgia, 6 hours to follow me with our newborn baby in the car all the way to come watch me fight. She's flown all around, like she's with it, man. She's with it 100%. So it's really finding that person that really has your back, and that's down for you. But of course, you guys got to talk through everything, and just because you may not be at a certain point in your career where you want to be, you kind of got to, you can't take that out on them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta just y'all gotta meet each other halfway and just work with each other. That's the main thing for sure.
Nah, man, absolutely. I got Devin from St. Anne, California. I remember you said that you feel like you should have got the Plant fight. Were you surprised he got whooped by Resendiz? Was a 10-1 underdog. What did you think of the fight?
I felt like, the selfish part of me felt like I should have got the Plant fight, and being in Vegas and everybody knowing who we are and our past history of us, boxing and being in the gym, and so many different people was like, man, like that should have, y'all should have been fighting. It was like, I mean, of course, we got mutual people between us, and we got the Andre Wards. I know he would have loved to see that. He would have came out. You got Floyd, who's seen us spar in the gym multiple times. James Toney, Roy Jones, all these guys, that like us as fighters, and that showing support to us. I think it would have been a dope thing. But as far as the fight itself, I mean, it definitely shocked me because I was like, leading up to the fight, I'm watching the fight with Dev, and I'm like, I'm telling him like, Charlo don't got a chance versus Plant. You know what I'm saying? Like, and before the fight, I'm like, Plant. I know how hard of a worker that Caleb is. You know what I'm saying? And how serious of a guy he is when it comes to boxing. But when I seen the fight after the first round, I'm like, hold up, this ain't looking, because I'm telling Dev, I'm like, Plant gonna smoke this kid, and then he gonna whoop on Charlo. You know what I'm saying? But after that first round, I'm like, okay, this shit here looking a little shit. This shit's looking okay. Maybe something is going on in the second round. I'm like, oh, this is food. And I end up posting that on my story, and hella people was like blowing it up. They was like taking to it. But in my mind, I'm like, me personally, when I'm watching the fight, I always felt like I would beat Caleb just based off of, just that's how I feel. Like I feel like I could beat anybody, especially when I'm at my best, on my best. When I'm on my shit, I don't feel like anybody can do anything with me. But I was just looking. I'm like, man, like I would have, if this would have been me, I don't think the fight goes the distance, personally. And
Now you
on
and
that on that
Resendiz
on
have a
that night,
different style though. Resendiz,
me and
he's
Resendez
a
have a different style, but
relentless body puncher in that
but
fight.
but Caleb was so hittable. You got to understand, and Resendez's speed is nowhere near mine. His timing is nowhere near mine, and it's like, I feel like, yeah, it's different. It's a different style, but I know how to hit you when you least expect it. That's the difference. My shit you don't see coming with Resendez. It's all straight ahead. You get to deal with what's in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but styles make fights, and hats off to Resendez. He got the job done. It wasn't me in there fighting him. So like I said, I think they gotta do it again.
For sure, man. That was a great fight. That was a
Yeah, it was
great
good fight.
fight. Shocked us
But but
too.
but but Caleb's tough, man. Don't get me wrong, because he was getting hit with some hellacious body shots. He was getting hit with some big shots in the fight. He weathered that whole storm. And so hats off to both them guys.
For sure. We got Ruin a 504. He says, "How were the boxing fans in Louisiana?"
It was cool, man. It was they I don't think they get much boxing down in that area. So, when you go out there and you perform and you do certain things, and they were shocked that even by like the outfits that like myself and a couple other fighters had on, and
Yeah, you had
and
the Michael Jackson outfit.
yeah, man, that's my thing, right? That's been my thing for since 2019, man. I've done Michael Jackson, my favorite artist. As a kid, I mean, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to dance like Michael Jackson, all type of stuff. So I kind of, started like doing like paying homage to him with different through different fights. So it's like, I did Thriller in October of 2019, and then I did Rock with You after that. I did um a few other ones, and the last one I did was the Billie Jean one. So I'm just kind of just, and then I did Roy Jones Jr.'s Trunks. So I did a homage to Roy too. So it's just like the guys that I look up to, and that I kind of, I guess, idolize, if you will. I just pay homage to them guys, man. So the next one's gonna be dope though. It's gonna be a good one.
That's what's up. I got Chapo from Virginia. He says, "What's your thoughts on the Roy Jones and Floyd Mayweather beef?"
Oh man.
But
You know,
he's talking about the recent, Floyd and Roy was going at it, and then Floyd started watching all Roy's knockouts on
yeah.
his big screen.
I think, man, like, you know, Roy's one of the guys that paved the way for Floyd because Floyd was coming up right behind Roy. And yeah, I think that they're both legends. Um, and so Roy's my guy. I've known Floyd since I was a kid. Obviously, I was promoted by him. Um, and I just think that, man, I think that, you know, these are two legendary fighters, that Roy wasn't when I seen Roy did the interview where he was talking about to Andre Ward about the Sugar Ray Leonard fight. And Roy didn't tear, he didn't tear Floyd down. You know what I'm saying? He said he felt like Sugar would win. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I feel like, it's these guys, yeah, they're retired. But it's like, you don't want to, you don't, in my opinion, you don't tear down the legends that come before you that paved the way for you, and that's my opinion. But, they're both men and, shit, you just never know. You never know. You might see them two guys in the ring with each other after this. So you just never know. I
I
know, I
mean,
know
you be with
RJ.
Roy, man. He
Yeah.
looked like a 200-pounder.
Listen, Roy can still throw them things, man. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking
what
about they.
weight is it gonna happen at?
I don't. That honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I'm just speaking. But I know. Floyd is getting a little older, and he's put on a little weight himself. But they doing all these exhibitions nowadays. You never know what you might see out there.
Mm-hmm.
So but those are both legendary fighters, man. And I hate to see that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? When it could be a situation where Floyd pays homage to Roy and, they give each other their credit, and I know how good of a guy Roy is. And I'm not gonna speak on here about, certain things, but I know how good of a guy that Roy truly is when it comes to even a guy like Floyd and other fighters, So I just hate to see shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is.
I got Z Pacino from St. Louis. He says, "Congrats on the win. What was the most challenging thing you faced during your boxing journey?"
Man, that's a good question. There's been a lot, but inactivity, man, and I think like, that's been the toughest thing for me to deal with is that inactivity. It's like, you see guys on TV and I never get envious or jealous of anybody. I clap for everybody that gets their opportunity, that gets their time, but feeling like, you know, you should be in a certain spot, but it's all up to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and every time I go out there, I just keep that as fuel, and I go out there and just keep performing and going out there and taking care of my business. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where I'm at right now, especially mentally. But I mean, it's like I said, inactivity, man. But I feel like now, like Ness said, this is my third fight coming up this year. I'm not doing no complaining. I'm just thankful. Just thankful.
Um, when you fought Manuel Gallegos, was it like on a Mexico show and you didn't know him? Was it some big show that got underlooked? Like, cause yeah, you
So
fought Manuel Gallegos in Mexico. So did you get duped? Did you know who
listen,
he
yeah,
was?
yeah. So we haven't really talked about that. So man, listen, I got hit up. I had fought for Floyd February 2020, and that fight came around. I think I can't remember what it was, but it was in 2021, and it got sent to me, and I wanted to fight. I hadn't fought in 14 months, so I just said yes. As soon as they sent it to me, this the guy. I said yes. I ain't asked no questions. I ain't asked. Next thing you know, it's in Mexico. It's this and that, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, it's in the kid's hometown, and then you see all these things start adding up, and then it's like, okay, then we get there, then we're in this small ring. They talking about Shakur fighting in the 18 by 18.
Well, that's
Listen,
not
brother.
true anymore. It was just reported this 20 by 20 on the inside.
Yeah. So they they talk about that. I'm like, man, listen, me and him fought in the ring so damn small, and it was so hot. So they knew whoever the promoters on his end, they knew because I was solo. They knew what it was, and it was like we were in a small, super small ring. It was 120 degrees temperature, 90% humidity. Completely just talk about you want to talk about fighting in hell. literally fighting in hell. You know, I didn't drop the kid. They didn't call it. They called it a slip. They didn't call it a knockdown. I hurt the kid, almost knocked him out. You know, it was a tough fight. I felt like I won. Multiple people hit me up. They were like, you know, we felt like you won, blah blah blah, this and that, blah blah blah. But there was nothing I could do about it. But I mean, it was the toughest fight of my career, hands down. More so
Really?
based off conditions though. It wasn't him. It was fighting in a you. It was like fighting in a sauna. So you know, we're fighting in this little ring. I'm fighting. He's a big puncher, you know, and you know, you've seen what he did to Khalil
Khalil
Cole.
Cole.
He ran down on him and stopped him, you know, and it was like, and Khalil came back and got his back, of course. But I mean, it was the conditions, man. Fighting in that type of heat, and we went okay, so a basketball gym, right? Now think about a basketball gym with no AC, and it's just all hot air coming in Mexico and Sinaloa and Sinaloa. Come on, bro. I'm talking about
How was it being in Sinaloa?
it was cool, man. Everybody showed me, you know, so much love, man. I actually, after the fight, man, I passed out from dehydration,
Oh
severe
wow.
dehydration. Yeah, man, and it was, you know, so many people hit me up, and you know, they were like, man, we thought you won from Mexico, man. We thought you won, and you know, we just knew the conditions were going to be tough for you out here. They love me though. They love me, man. They love me out there. So it was a good experience, you know, and hopefully, you know, I could get mine back from Gallegos as well. Would love to
What
do
did you
that.
think of his fight with Pacheco? Pacheco was able to stop him in four. Did you
Yeah.
watch it live?
He gave Pacheco some. One thing about Gallegos, he's gonna give you a run for your money, you know. And he gave Pacheco all he can handle, and Pacheco did what he was supposed to do, you know. He did what he's supposed to do, and he got him out of there, man. So, you know, I feel like I said, but you go down to Sinaloa, you fighting in that heat and in them conditions, and it's completely different. You know, over here in America, we spoiled, man. We complain about ring size, but at least over here we got air conditioning. The lights might be a little hot, you know, but we ain't fighting in that. What me and him fought in was when they said when Sugar Ray Robinson he was fighting, he went up to light heavyweight and he was fighting, and the conditions were so bad to where he had to they had to stop the fight or whatever. It was like I understood what they mean because that's how hot it was in that ring. It was ridiculously. I probably lost like 10 pounds in that fight, just being in the fight alone.
So I'm gonna butcher his name, but is it Janek Plana?
Gank Plana.
Gank?
Yeah.
Gank?
Yeah. Plana, yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
just texted me like, my boy beat Newman. And he
Who's that?
says, this guy, I mean, I guess, is he
Oh,
from
Plana, yeah.
Atlanta or something? Or it says Maryland, but my friend is from Atlanta and he put, you know, that name. What
So
happened
when
in
you
that
said
fight? That's Sam's Town.
that,
That was in Vegas. That's a
yeah,
hometown fight.
that's the no, but that's the one where I told you, like, I was just going through that mental, you know, so much. I had so much shit mentally going on. But when we got in the ring, I didn't even know it was. I was completely like, just like they talk about mental health stuff. You got the guys pulling out for mental health. That was probably when I should have did that, but I didn't. But as far as beat me, ain't nobody beat me. ain't nobody beat me. Ain't nobody whooped on me. Ain't nobody just beat me. You understand what I'm saying? Like I haven't been beat by a fighter better than me. You know, and that's how I feel. And they ain't nobody got in the ring and been like, oh yeah, this guy's he whooped Newman, or that has not happened. That hasn't happened. That has not happened.
Well, I mean, since those two back-to-back losses, you've been
Yeah.
on this 7-fight win streak, and obviously you're about to wait. It's more than 7. Oh no, 7, 7-fight win streak, and obviously you got this big fight in October.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think that might be all the questions, man. Refreshing. We got actually one more from B3 Picks out of VA. Thank you for your time and coming to the Boxing Voice. My question is, what are some of the sacrifices you make to be a great fighter and a future world champion?
Man, it's so many different things I couldn't even tell you, man. But I miss out a lot of stuff on my kids, you know, especially going to training camp. I know you hear people say that all the time, but like a lot of stuff with my kids, just the day to day of them growing up, or you know, there certain things at school. Like I missed the first daddy daughter dance last year. I missed that one, but I thank God I was able to make it up this year. You know, birthdays, holidays, you know, you name it, man. And I think I missed my my baby. I missed his first birthday. And it's like it's certain things, man, that you miss. It's a lot of sacrifices. But I mean, it's all if you keep going, and you keep God first and keep doing what you need to do. It'll all pay off in the end. That time you can't get back, but you could do other things to make up for it by giving your kids a better future, stability and things of such. Of course, and at the end of the day, your kids are not going to want to see you with your head down because you weren't able to go out there and try and accomplish your goals and see you live with all that type of things that you see a lot of these athletes have to live with, man. I don't think that gets talked about enough, but I think a lot of failed athletes live with a lot of things, and it dawns on their family. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you go out there and you make those sacrifices that are tough, and you be a little selfish, and in the end you'll be able to take care of your loved ones the best that you can.
You spoke about being on a Jake Paul card, and then you gave us the details
Yeah.
to explain you're not technically a cruiserweight, but
Yeah.
technically you fought at cruiserweight. Is you and Jake's relationship too friendly, or would he consider you? Because I don't know if you noticed, but he's called, I don't want to say called out, but there's something there with Daniel Jacobs potentially coming back. He's also called out Badu Jack,
Yeah.
another guy you're familiar with from the Mayweather gym.
Yeah.
Is that something you would consider? Do you think he would consider, or are you guys too friendly because of the whole Jay Leone love, Mayweather, all you guys know
Me
each
and
other?
me and Jake got a personal relationship, man. Me and Jake, we talk. We text. He congratulates me. I congratulate him. He'll hit me up. I knew he was fighting Tyson before the whole world knew he was fighting Tyson. So we just put it like that, man. And he showed me a lot of love. And when I was in a tough situation, family situation, he put me on his card, man. And and he took care of me very, very well. The whole MVP team, Nakisa, everybody, they took care of me, excuse me, very, very well. So, I
Damn,
mean,
so why we couldn't get no co-promotion or something?
man, it's funny, man. Like, I mean, if MVP is with it, they see the work that I've been putting in. They see the highlights I've put together, and I was actually supposed to be on the Tyson card. That was the
Damn.
funny thing. I was supposed to be on that, but man, however God works it out for me, I'm cool with it. But I would love to do something with MVP or something like that, man. It'd be dope. It'd be dope. I think like they're doing great things in boxing, especially with women's boxing. They just gave the kid fighting out of here from Vegas. I think they just signed him and they gave him an opportunity. Um, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Alex Getcha or Getch, something like that?
No, 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 no. It was one of Bomax fighters. Um,
Oh,
he
yes.
just
Yes.
yeah,
Avis
yeah.
Griffin.
Yeah, yeah. So man, it's like but Jake got my number and Jay and all them, they got my number, man. So they know all they gotta do is reach out and be like, Kev, look, we want to put you on, and we gonna go make it happen.
Hey, man, sometimes closed mouth don't get fed. But listen, you got a
Yeah.
son. I know he
Yes.
loves boxing.
I got
It
two
seems
sons.
it seems like Mayweather Promotions is doing a green belt challenge. He ain't
Yeah.
mixing it up.
Nah, man, I'm not. One thing about boxing, man, I'm not forcing on my kids. Like I've been letting them train with me, especially Kev since he was little. Uh, he's been. Can you hear me or did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out, but we hear
Okay.
you.
No, but he's been training with me, but I'm not forcing it on him, man. I gotta kind of let them, you know, tell me like, hey, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and then I'll support them, of course. But boxing is it's a tough business. It's a tough game. It's bigger than just throwing them in a little amateur fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
for sure. I just always look at it like guys like yourself, you've already been through the game. Like, okay,
yeah,
maybe you didn't have the smoothest career, but you made
right.
contacts. If your son is good, like
No, for
like
sure, for
you
sure.
got Jake's number,
No,
you got
for
Roy's
sure,
number, you got
for
Devin,
sure.
probably a half dozen or 18
Yeah,
dozen more numbers that can and you've watched Devin do it with Bill. I don't
right.
know if that's something that crossed your mind. That's all. I'm just trying to get it
Yeah,
out before the
it's
interview.
no, yeah. I mean, it definitely has. My youngest son, he loves it. He's Daddy. I wanna fight just like you. And my oldest one, he's so talented, man. He's such an athletic kid, man. And it's like, so if they want to do it, They got the right guy. But as far as me forcing it, I'm pushing him to play baseball, try and play baseball or, a little bit of football from my oldest because he's a little heavier. But basketball and stuff like that. But baseball is what I really want them to do. But if they want to box, they gotta show me. You know what I'm saying? They gotta show me. They gotta show me. So and then we'll go from there. But I do have all the plugs. You're right,
As a
Ness. I do.
fighter, how does your son have to show you? Is it like he wakes up and runs the miles, or I don't gotta wake him up to go to the gym, or is that
Exactly.
all cool? But the most important part is when he get in that ring, how he reacts to the punches.
He got to show. Yeah, for one, he gotta. I gotta see how he handles contact, but it gotta be more like me, man. Like, it was my mom. Like, it was me and my mom, and I told my mom, I'm like, look, I'm gonna box. This is what I want to do. And I did everything necessary to show that that's what I wanted to do. She didn't have to get me up to go run. She didn't have to, do this or do that. It was like she had to tell me, Kevin, you need to be in the gym. None like that. I went out there and did that shit, on my own. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm out there running them miles. And even to this day, man, my mom will still take me running every now and then. Still, and we could be going on a 13-mile run and she gonna drive all 2 hours of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, so it's like I I have to see something like that from them, that eagerness, that willingness to really want to go. Like my baby, he'll cry if he can't go to the gym.
Mm,
If he can't come in the gym. He'll cry and whine about it, so it's like I gotta see stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like
for sure.
he'll go run. He went running with me. He ran 2 miles. He's 4 years old, man. Ran like 2.5 miles and didn't cry, didn't complain. He cried when I put him back in the car because he wanted to go some more. So it's like it's
How old
stuff
is
like
he?
that, man. Four,
Wow, and he
four,
did 2.5 miles.
bro. 2.5 miles,
Lord.
bro. 2.5 miles, and he was, and then my oldest now he was out there training with Roy. He loved it, man. I mean, loved it. I took him from 135 pounds all the way down to 122 pounds. We both did a training camp together, so just trying to give my boys the game, man. You know what I'm saying?
For
And he
sure,
ran
man.
3 miles and he's pushing himself. So if they want to do it, then, they got the right guy for sure.
Bless up, man. That's the
Yeah.
last one. I appreciate you. Give out that social media in case anybody's crazy
Yeah.
enough not to be following. And once again, thank you for your time,
Yeah.
champ.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you rocking with me, these last few years. And thank you for always covering me, man, and showing me love every time you see me in the gym and stuff like that, man.
Nah,
So
for
thank
sure,
you.
champ.
Um, at Kevin Newman _II on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, look forward to the October one. Me and you will talk about the October one
Yeah.
off the record though.
Let's get
Yeah,
it, man.
yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.
So thank you, brother. So I appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Newman, the second.